Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Stranger Things, issue number 1 from IDW and Dark Horse Comics. So yeah, not only do we get a Stranger Things and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover, but the crossover with the Turtles is from the Mirage comics. So we get the Mirage Turtles. We don't get the IDW Turtles or any other iteration of the Turtles. It's the OG Mirage Comics Turtles, which is kind of weird because I was not expecting them to ever, come back, but I'm happy because I love the Mirage version. And yeah, this takes place in 1985, so I guess it makes sense for them to go back to the OG Turtles. The Stranger Things gang are taking a field trip to New York. And I'll be honest with you, I have never watched Stranger Things, so I'm not all that knowledgeable about them. I know about the Demogorgon just because of Dead by Daylight. So I know of like Nancy and Steve, again, just because of Dead by Daylight. But my knowledge of Stranger Things is very, very minimal. Like, I guess I know about like the Upside Down world. I know it's a group of kids that are, I guess, trying to deal with the Upside Down world and the creatures from it. And that one of the kids, her name is 11. And she's like some kind of like experiment. Like she has psychic powers. But that's kind of like as far as my knowledge goes. Thankfully, though, this issue does a pretty good job of making sure that if you're just a fan of one franchise or the other, that you're not going to get lost. So obviously, I know a lot about the Turtles. I mean, anyone who's been on this channel, just go see how many freaking Ninja Turtle videos I've made. So I know all about that. Don't know much about Stranger Things, but this issue does a pretty good job of kind of catching me up, or at least giving me enough information so that I'm not completely lost when it comes to this. Yeah, they're going on vacation in New York, and they somehow get sidetracked. Basically, Mike is waiting for his girlfriend, Elle, 11. I guess her nickname is Elle. And all of a sudden, Elle shows up, and Mike goes and hugs her and stuff. And I guess it's kind of weird because there's this conversation about, like he asks her, like, how did you get here? And she says, a bus. And he's like, a different bus, like a Greyhound or something? You know how to do that? Really? Like, you know how to ride a bus by yourself? So I guess it's because, as far as I know, like, did she like grow up in like a laboratory or something? So maybe she's not all that knowledgeable of like just everyday basic things. I don't know. Maybe someone can tell me in the comments. But because of this meeting, the gang get distracted, and then they realize that the rest of their school's already down in the subway. By the time they get there, they realize that they just missed the train. So they're all by themselves. They have, they're like, all right, well, maybe we can catch the next train that comes by. And I'm assuming our teacher's going to realize that we're missing, and he's going to stop at the next stop, and then we can meet up that way. But before they can wait for the next train, they start hearing weird noises. And it's noises that kind of sound like the Demogorgon. And so they have Elle create a distraction so that they can jump down onto the subway tracks and check out the subway tunnels to see if they can find what's going on. And that's when they get attacked by Demogorgon Mousers. Yeah, it's basically Mousers, but the top half of its head is the Demogorgon petal mouth with teeth. I don't know how else to describe it. I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. And Elle is about to take them on using her psychic powers when all of a sudden the OG Mirage Turtles show up and just beat the crap out of these Mousers. And I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I miss seeing my OG Turtles. It is funny because as I'm doing this review, I am actually currently going through Volume 2 of the Mirage Comics TMNT and doing reviews for that. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. I did a review for every single issue, including all the spin-offs and the guest era stuff for Volume 1. So now I've decided, well, let's move on to the next volume. Let's go with Volume 2, especially since I technically already covered Volume 3 with the Urban Legends. So yeah, it's cool to see the OG guys show up. But they make quick work of the Mousers. They tell the kids, like, hey, don't be scared. And they just kind of chit-chatting for a little bit before they get attacked by rats. And these are normal-looking rats, except that they have the Demogorgon heads. And Or are they rats? I think they might be called Demogorgon dogs, or not Demogorgon dogs, Demodogs, I think is what they call it. And I guess they grow up to become Demogorgons. Is that correct? Again, I haven't seen the show, so I'm not completely sure, but it's just like what knowledge that I'm getting from this issue. But before they can attack the turtles, Elle uses her powers to smash them against the wall. So the turtles bring the gang to their layout in the sewers, and they just kind of catch up. Like, oh, these creatures are from another dimension. You live in Indiana. What's this upside down world? What are demigorgons and demodogs? And the turtles explain about them being mutants and Splinter and all that stuff. So it's just kind of a moment where they just kind of like sharing information about each other. And then that's when Master Splinter shows up, and he basically is like, all right, there's a lot of differences between us, but let's focus on the one thing we all have in common. We all want to stop these demi creatures from attacking New York City. So what can we do? And that's when they realize, well, the Mausers that attacked us, I mean, they obviously have to belong to Baxter, right? Like, he's got to be involved in this somehow. So the thing is like, how are we going to find him, though? Because last we heard of him, we put him in prison. So how are we going to figure out where he's at? And that's when Elle reveals that she has powers where she can go into the void and she can gather information. Like, basically, Mike explains that she knows what to, if she knows what they look like out here in the real world, then she'll know how to track them in the void. And so 11 decides to go into the void. She tracks down Baxter Stockman, and she realizes that he's aware of her, because when she sees him in this void, he's writing down a piece of paper. He's writing down 11, her name, and then he writes down an address and the time. So basically, he's like, I know you're here in New York, and I want to meet you at this time at this location. And of course, the turtle's like, okay, this has got to be like maybe some kind of trap or something. So half of the gang wants to go track down Baxter, but the other half wants to make sure that all the Mausers and Demodogs and Demogorgons and stuff like that aren't going around causing havoc and eating civilians in the subway. So that's when the gang decides, okay, we're going to split up. We're going to have two turtles and half the Stranger Things gang go after Baxter, and then we're going to have the other half of the gang and the turtles go into the subways and fight off whatever monsters they can find. And there's more, but I'm going to kind of stop it there because I don't want to spoil anything, because this is actually good. I like it. As someone who's never watched Stranger Things, I wasn't completely lost. Like, this issue did a pretty good job of making sure I can at least follow the story. The dynamic between the Stranger Things gang and the Turtles is pretty interesting. Like, they're not just immediately best friends, but they're not like antagonistic towards each other, which is something that always bugs the crap out of me when it comes to crossovers. Anytime there's a crossover, it's always, oh, we got to fight each other at first, but then we realize that we're actually on the same side, and then we're going to join forces to fight an actual foe. So I'm glad that we didn't do that here. They're just like, hey, we just got attacked by Mausers, and you just got attacked by Demogorgons or Demodogs. We're after the same thing here. Let's join up. Okay. But even then, they're not like 100% trusting of each other. They're just like, we'll work with each other because we have a common goal. And then I guess the friendship can develop over time. So I like that because, again, it goes against the cliche of we got to fight each other first before we can be friends. The artwork is actually pretty good too, especially for the Turtles. Like, it actually really captures that OG Mirage style, which I really love. I love the classic Kevin Eastman style for the Turtles. I thought they were like really well designed. I like the fact that it's basically the OG Turtles. It's the OG Turtles in the OG layer. They have all the red headbands. They don't have like their names on their belts or anything like that. Their design is like a 1-for-1 of the Eastman style. I like the combination of demis mixed with robotics, like the Demi Mausers. Like, that's pretty cool. So yeah, this was surprisingly good. I don't know what I was expecting coming into this. I was like, this is going to be just like another cash grab. We're going to have the IDW Turtles and Jenica going on some kind of weird, crazy adventures with the Stranger Things gang. Whatever. I'm going to give it a chance just because I like the Turtles, and we'll see how it goes. No, it wasn't that at all. It was OG Mirage Turtles with the gritty and darkness and the kind of seriousness that they bring. And they're trying to stop Mausers and just demons altogether with the help of the Stranger Things gang. I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool. This was good. So there you go. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Stranger Things, issue number 1 from IDW and Dark Horse. I liked it. I recommend it. If you like the Turtles, check it out. If you like Stranger Things, check it out. If you like both franchises, definitely check it out. This was good. I also like the fact that we have a crossover between two franchises from two different publications, and not one of them is being propped up as better than the other. That's something that I always freaking hated. Batman completely ruined the crap out of the Shadow. Like, I love the Shadow so much, but anytime there's a Batman Shadow crossover, it basically turns into the Batman story, and Batman is always so much better than the Shadow. And Batman's always talking about how like the Shadow's ways is terrible and he shouldn't murder, and Batman's ways are better. It's basically just a way for Batman to step all over the Shadow, and I hate it, especially since Batman's just nothing but a ripoff of the Shadow in the first place. But I hate when we get crossovers where it's like there's one franchise I really love and another one that either I do enjoy or I don't care about, or whatever, and you always have to prop up one against the other. Even the Turtles Street Fighter one kind of upset me, where we had Chun-Li just beating the crap out of Mikey and he just takes it and doesn't do anything. And it's like, all right, that sucked. So I always hated that. I always hated when you do crossovers and you got to prop up one franchise over the other. I hate that so much. And I like the fact that we're not doing that here. The Turtles take out the first wave of Mauser Demogorgons, and and Ellie, or L I should say, 11, takes out the second wave. So they're on equal footing. Both of them bring their things, like the Stranger Things gang brings their knowledge of the Upside Down world and the Demogorgons, Demodogs, and all that. Meanwhile, the Turtles bring their knowledge of Baxter Stockman and the Mausers and all those contraptions and just the layout of Manhattan and New York and all that stuff. So each one of them, it feels like they're on even footing. There's not one side that's better than the other, which is good. That's the way crossover should be, in my opinion. So I like that a lot. So yeah, it was really good. Go check it out. There you go. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe. Hit that bell for a notification. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far. And I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlists that you guys see. And I hope to see you guys next time. Later.